Now.
Loose change for getting down. It's Friday and I'm on fire, and I know that I'll break your heart, and I'm sorry, I'm just so tired. These cars are just it, so won't you come?
So, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you're watching another episode of Between the Ropes. And tonight, we kind of got a smaller crew, but that's okay. We're here. We're ready to go. So let me introduce you to the first person we have with us tonight, Mr. Mess Around Dave. How are you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good. I got 3 naps in today because the Bears didn't play. They played on Thursday night. So. And anytime Green Bay loses, it's a good day for me.
Holy cow. You're 3 naps. Holy cow.
Wow. 3 of them.
I think that might be a new record. All right, and then Christy, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Though I'm sad my team lost.
Oh, it's all right.
These
It all
things happen,
happens.
though.
It all happens. It's all
Yeah,
good.
it does.
Cooper Rush can't win them all.
Yeah,
Right.
I know. But he's been
All right.
very good, so I'm very, very impressed.
All right. Well, with that being said, anyways, we have some wrestling for you that we're going to jump into tonight. We kind of have a little differently. We kind of set up our format a little differently now. We're not doing the same format as we were before.
Mm-hmm.
We have topics, kind of about the same topics, but it's just the format is set up differently. So the first format, or I should say not the first format, the first topic that we have for you tonight is actually our Raw review. And our Raw review this week is going to actually be none other than Mr. Mess Around Dave. So Mess Around, if you want to kind of go ahead and give us that Raw review.
So I'll just briefly touch on this. The big story that the whole thing was the DX 25th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's been around like I have for the whole start of the thing, 25 years, boy, that makes you feel old.
Right.
You have seen it all, seen everything that DX did back then. I'm 44, so yeah, I saw it all, and that makes me feel old seeing all that. And I thought at the end when Triple H said, "Now all you all ain't that old to have seen it all, so you can't be all saying yeah."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. And then we had the Miz's birthday party. His 42nd birthday was on Saturday, so WWE threw him a party to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw a father and son do battle, but not who you think.
Oh.
Austin Theory took on his former mentor in NXT dad, Johnny Gargano.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Gargano won that match. I can't recall, though.
Yes,
I
correct.
think he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay. And then we had Lashley, who was attacked before the match with Rollins. Lesnar came back and beat him up pretty good. Give a couple of fives. The crowd kept chanting, one more. So Lesnar obliged and gave him that 5 and took him to Suplex City. And then Rollins came out, and 3 curb stomps later, you got a new U.S. champion. Which to me doesn't really make sense. Rollins doesn't really need a belt, but
No.
about time. I think this is their payoff for him doing all the stuff he did for them, like losing the Rhodes and putting Rhodes over and lose the Riddle. They finally rewarded them for that. So I think that's why they gave him the belt.
And he took the belt to the Bears game on Thursday.
Sami Zayn, when he was talking,
Yeah.
that dude is so over you couldn't hear a word he was saying.
Right.
Those are my highlights from Raw. Anybody else have anything to say about it? Go ahead.
Let's see. I think Dexter Loomis ruined Miz's birthday simply by just showing up. So
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that DX also came up with an idea for The Miz. They said if you want to get rid of him, you can face him. He goes away, but if he wins, he gets a contract.
Which I will say the one
Brilliant, by the way.
the one part that was so funny about that though was when Road Dogg was like, was like, I don't know if I can do that, but I just did it.
Right.
When he was making the match and he was like, I don't know if I can do that, but I just did it. Just like that was good.
Oh,
Yeah,
and you
that
also
was
hear, I
awesome.
think it was one of the commentary, I think it was Corey Graves that said, yeah, I heard Billy Gunn's doing something with office equipment. And I'm like, oh my God, Graves.
Yeah.
And
With-
referencing Billy Gunn being in AEW now and his association with the tag team, The Acclaimed, whose tagline is Scissor Me.
Yeah,
And
which,
that's
They're
where that
gonna make a
came
joke
from.
about that eventually.
It was a joke, I know.
yeah, which,
But it coming
which,
from Graves, I'm like, you jerk.
which to me though, WWE did everything they could to try and get Billy Gunn there for
Yeah.
for the 25th, but
Mm-hmm.
AEW would not allow it to happen, and
No,
so
what?
it was.
Speaking of DX, the opening segment when they were trying not to, Triple H trying not to get him because he's like, "What do you mean we can't say cock?" And then they got Triple H to say it, and they're all, "You just said it."
You just said it, dude.
You definitely miss I definitely miss the DX antics. That for so many years is what made it so great, was the antics of DX. And I'll tell you, did you kind of get emotional when you kind of heard, "Are you ready?"
Maybe a little bit.
And
Maybe
it
a
kind
little
of
bit.
like, oh my God. I was like, this really brings it back into like
Yeah.
the old days. And I was like, I was so excited about it. I was like, oh man, just hearing that music again brought it back to the whole Attitude Era.
Yeah. No, I wish China was still with us. She would have probably had a blast at this 25th anniversary event for DX.
It was cool though that they gave her a shout out.
Yeah. No, I mean that was a really nice thing for them to do.
That was one thing that I really enjoyed
cool.
about it. Was that
I don't think they would have done it if Pac didn't mention it. I don't think any of the others were going to mention her.
Yeah.
you don't think so?
I
I
don't
mean,
think
Pac
so.
and China were super close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Only because the whole triangle thing with Triple H and China and Stephanie back in the day.
yeah.
I don't think Trips would have brought it up.
No.
Yeah, I might agree with you on that. Well, don't forget though, there was one part that you did miss that is kind of big. That the OC is back.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I forgot the OC. I
Yeah.
love that part when
OC.
they're in the ring and it just like, yeah, I wasn't talking about you.
Yeah.
And then
He's
you hear,
embracing Finn. He's like, I wasn't talking about you. And then
and then you hear the OC
Finn's eyes
music
about
come out.
ready to pop right off his head.
Yeah,
I was
how
funny.
could I forget about that? Well, I was reading off the internet what they had.
No, it's good.
But
It's
there's
good.
one
I
major.
just-
Oh,
The internet page I went to didn't even touch on the OC part. It's kind of weird.
no, they kind of didn't. But I did hear that. I think it's Carl Anderson has a title. I think he's in Japan. I think it is a never open title. I think or something like that.
Yeah, which WWE did say that even though he's back there, they're gonna allow him to go cover the dates that he was already scheduled to
Yeah.
be there. Which
No, that's a good thing. If this was Vince, he wouldn't have let Carl Anderson do that. He's good
No.
to Triple H. He's going to let him do that.
now for those people who forever was
Mhm.
coming out and saying, "Oh, Vince hasn't really retired. Vince is gonna always be there." Are people starting to wake up now and realize that Vince is no longer a part of this thing? Because
know.
everything that is happening now, there's no way that Vince would be allowing a lot of this stuff to happen if Vince was
Right.
actually.
That's true.
So-
He wouldn't allow Anderson to go back and forth. He wouldn't.
Well,
if you notice, there's not a lot of whole roll-up victories a lot lately. There's
Mhm.
hardly any of those anymore. I mean, there's a couple this week, but
Mm-hmm.
well, no. I'm talking about, but I'm also talking about like the people that he's brought back.
right.
Which is definitely brought back. Like
Mhm.
if Vince was actually still there, there's
None
no
of them.
way a lot of these people would actually be
A
back.
lot of them would have said thank you, but no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the culture and everything it's just so better now. And Owie Sheets is saying, kind of off subject, it was awesome to see Paige back on AEW.
Yep.
So
She
you
returned to
talking about
AEW
Saraya?
Grand Slam, her theme
yeah,
music.
Saraya. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so hot. I'm gonna start watching AEW now.
just,
You
just
definitely will like what you see when you see her. Also, her entrance theme is super cool. It's the song called "Zombified" by her boyfriend Ronnie Radke's band, Falling in Reverse. It's really cool.
that's kind of
If you check the music video out, it's so freaky.
It's kind of
freaky.
funny. She's the only reason I had to watch AEW.
Oh, is because it is because of that. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too far off topic here, but
Right.
yeah. So going in next, because we were talking about Raw and you'd mentioned the whole thing with Dexter Lumis and that Dexter Lumis gets to fight Miz next week, and if Dexter Lumis wins, then he gets a contract. And so, to me personally, come on, Dexter Lumis is going to obviously win. I don't see any other way. Like I think if the match happens, like I'm thinking that maybe somehow the Miz does something funky to where maybe the match does not happen. But I still think that Lumis wins. So Messer, how about you?
Yeah, if the match takes place, there's no way that Lumis is not going to win because obviously he's already under contract. So you got to make it look real and legit that he's there and for real. So he's going to win if it takes place, unless the Miz, like you said, weasels way out of the match. And
and Weasels.
Oh, he tried doing it before last year when he had to defend the WWE title against Lashley. He was trying to figure out all kinds of ways to get out of it. I'm sick. I don't wanna. That sort of thing.
Right. And it's interesting how Dexter Lumis. Well, we've seen him in NXT before, so we know, we know his skill set. But
he's good.
Since he's come back, he hasn't wrestled a match yet, but he's still over with the fans.
And he hasn't said 2 words yet.
Yeah, which I think is funny. He's over, but he hasn't even wrestled.
Right.
Yeah. Well, his character is supposed to be like stone face, silent, not say a word. He hasn't spoken 2 words since the first episode of NXT 2.0 last year, where he said, "I do," and that's all he said.
He's kind of a
the whole
guy.
wedding situation with Indy Hartwell.
So Owie Sheets is saying, what do you think about Roman and Logan? Myself, I think it's a waste of time. Well, personally, the reason why they are doing it is because the match is supposed to be. It's kind of like Heyman said when he said it best in the promo that he cut. Like it was not this past Friday, but it was like two weeks ago when he cut the promo. It was basically saying the reason why people like Logan Paul are here is because it's moneymaker and it brings viewership to us, which that's why they're doing it, because at Crown Jewel it's making them money because of where they're doing it at to where Crown Jewel is in Saudi Arabia. That's what they want. They like requested a Logan Paul match. So they figured, okay, you want Logan Paul, we'll just do it like this. So they kind of have to give Saudi Arabia what they want because that's where they're putting on the pay-per-view at. So to me, I know people think it's a waste of time, but that's why they're doing it. So on the business side, I completely understand why.
I don't think it's a waste of time, honestly. Even if it wasn't like requested, Logan Paul, his skill set, he's gotten so much better. He's improved, and he's made a believer out of a lot of people with his performance at Mania and all that.
Yep,
The
and
dude can
SummerSlam
flat out
too.
wrestle.
He can flat out wrestle. He is a talented guy. Like 2 weeks ago when Roman was talking to him too, and the fans are booing and going like, you suck and everything. It was kind of funny when Roman's
They
like,
used to do that to me too.
Yeah, they used to do that to me too, and look at me now. So,
I'm the greatest of all time.
yeah, so I was like, it was
that
great.
was
I'm not putting Logan Paul in that category.
That
but
was a great quip he had right there. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
He did.
It was. And I'm not putting him in that category. I'm just simply saying that what Roman said made complete sense. And what Heyman said made complete sense because he was letting everybody know why WWE was doing it. Pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah. Wasn't hiding the fact it's a cash
It's a
grab.
moneymaker. That's what it is.
I
It's
mean,
a
does anybody think Logan Paul is going to win? Probably not.
no.
Nope.
Everybody knows Logan Paul is not going to win. Everybody
get
knows
murdered.
that. Would everybody be shocked 1,000% if somehow
Yes.
he walked out? Everyone would be like,
Mhm.
what the hell just happened? Like,
What?
Like I said, it'd be funny if Logan Paul won when all these other big names couldn't.
oh, man.
Crazy.
Oh, man. That would definitely be something.
It
But-
would, wouldn't it?
So,
Like that's so far out of left field, nobody would see it coming. Like,
so I think
That would
we're
be a
all
swerve right there.
I think we're all in agreement that going back to Dexter Loomis, that Dexter Loomis is going to win the contract.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Perfect.
even though I do think there might be some shenanigans involved, like Maurice might get involved in this, and then if she tries anything, then I suspect Indy Hartwell is going to show up on Raw and stop her from pulling out some sort of dirty trick.
No,
But
it
that's
makes,
just what I'm thinking.
no, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. And I'm just saying in general, I think that
Mhm.
Dexter Loomis is going to walk away with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
So going into our next topic here, Christy, this one is you. This is the SmackDown review. So
SmackDown. Here we go.
actually, sorry, no.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I jumped ahead a few things.
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry.
Actually, yes, that was my apologies because our next one, which actually makes sense because we go from Monday and then we go into Tuesday, which is
Okay,
our
NXT.
NXT review. So, what I think is interesting about the NXT this week, we actually saw somebody from the main roster again, which I kind of like how they've been kind of doing with NXT a little bit, kind of taking some of the main stars from Raw and SmackDown and kind of mixing them in with NXT to kind of help the viewership a little bit and kind of build up because they've been calling a lot of people up from NXT.
They
Like
have.
they've been bringing a bunch of people up, so they're like, all right, well, since we're bringing all these people up, we still have to have people there, and of course for mess around, I'm sorry, and I know that Mandy Rose is still in NXT. She's still there. You haven't seen her on the main stage again yet.
I
Soon.
think her time being there is going to happen. She'll go up to the main roster soon.
I feel like I don't know how soon it's gonna
To
be.
be honest with you, NXT going down to NXT has been a godsend for her. She's learned how to wrestle. She's perfected her craft. She's gotten a lot better on the mic and in the ring. So it's
She
really
definitely-
worked wonders for her.
Yeah, and she's the NXT Women's
Yeah.
Champion, so that also I think was also helpful as well.
Yes. Now Braun Breaker, I'm actually shocked that he's still there.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
I am
He should have been
because
on the main roster a long time ago, but maybe
He'll be
he
there.
personally felt he wasn't ready.
well, right now he's kind of holding NXT down until they exactly figure out
Mm-hmm.
when they are ready for him. He actually kicked off NXT this week against Javier Bernal, and Braun Breaker got the victory there, which I think is interesting too because he's feuding again with JD McDowell. So
McDonough, yeah.
which I think that was actually a great feud the first time.
Right.
So
Well,
because
you also got to add in Ilya Dragunov in there as well because Braun Breaker will be facing him and JD McDonough at Halloween Havoc.
yes, which I'm telling you, I can't wait for that pay-per-view because
That should
I
be
think
great.
I think that's going to be a very good pay-per-view. The
Yes.
5-man North American Championship ladder match. That is going to be great. And we actually saw the final entrant,
Mhm.
actually win and enter in the match when it was actually what the heck Nathan Frazier actually ended up winning and entering, and Nathan Frazier is actually a talented guy. The 5-man ladder matches, this is not the first time that they've done that, because if you remember, they did it with Stand and Deliver also the day before WrestleMania, and that turned out to be a heck of a match too. And,
that was crazy.
Well, yeah, because Carmelo Hayes was in that match. That dude is talented.
That dude's
dude needs to
amazing.
go to the main roster. He is insanely good.
Yeah, that dude.
So good.
Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams as the tag team.
To the main roster.
Freaking amazing. So
good.
And then you have Alba Fire, which I will tell you, Alba Fire, she had a good match this past week against JC Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that really surprised me, though, in this whole match was that Sonya Deville appeared afterwards.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is she doing there?
Yeah, so it's making me wonder if they're kind of doing to Sonya Deville what they did with Mandy Rose.
Well, I think I heard the reason why Sonya was there was because Mandy's brother passed away, and she had asked for time off to be with her family during the difficult time, so Sonya was there, and that was the reason I heard. Yeah,
but I mean, it makes sense. I'm just curious that when Mandy comes back, if Sonya Deville's going to stay there, because that's kind of what they ended up doing. If you remember, when Mandy Rose was there, they kind of sent her down to NXT, which really helped her. Like Mess Around said, it really helped her. It really grew her character, made her better in the ring. It made her better on the mic. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that Sonya Deville's bad, because she's not. It's just maybe right now they don't really have anything for Sonya Deville, and so they figure, if we send you to NXT, you can kind of be the leader right now of Toxic Attraction.
Or Sonya could establish her own little faction in NXT, because I don't think they were going to do anything with Gigi Dolan or JC Jane until they decided to pair those two up with Mandy Rose to form Toxic Attraction. And Toxic Attraction became huge in NXT.
Well, yeah, because my thinking on this is, what if, let's say, because Mandy's gone, and Sonya is there now, and right now she's leading Toxic Attraction because Mandy Rose is not there. What if somehow Sonya ends up kind of getting Toxic Attraction to turn against Mandy? So when she comes back, that's how Mandy loses her belt, is because Toxic Attraction turns against Mandy.
Ooh, and that would be awesome.
Right, exactly, right?
Yeah. I think
so I think that would be like a cool way of getting the belt off Mandy, especially if they want to take Mandy and put her on the main roster. That would be a great way of doing it, is having Toxic Attraction turn against her and make Sonya the leader. I don't know. It's just,
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I didn't watch NXT. How'd my other girl, Cora Jade, do?
So Cora Jade's kind of an interesting one, because I'm trying to figure out exactly what they want to do with her. I'm not exactly there to figure out the direction that she's going to go.
Well, right now she is feuding with Roxanne Perez. She's trying to be this badass heel, Generation of Jade sort of thing.
But if you remember, though, when Perez showed up on SmackDown, WWE really liked her debut on SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
So
now they're thinking about inviting her back.
Exactly. So I'm looking at this going, Jade is feuding with Perez, but Perez was so great on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And you bring her up to the main roster. Now the only way that you can make it work is, you can still have, Jade and Perez kind of go at it a little bit with NXT, but eventually if you want her on the main roster, you're just going to have her there, and then Jade's going to have to kind of go do her own thing, unless you want to bring Jade up to SmackDown too. But to me personally, I don't think Jade's quite ready
She's
to go on
not
SmackDown yet. Not quite.
Nope.
She needs to spend a little bit more time
right.
on the developmental side.
I would agree with
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, that would be a better idea.
But eventually she will be there. I
Mhm.
She's got the skills. She just needs to improve a little bit more.
Yeah.
which that's what NXT is supposed to be for. It's to help
Yeah, I mean, she and Roxanne, they're both very young, but they're really, really good. I'm really
you. Mhm.
surprised. I'm honestly surprised by how good they both are at the
Of
ages they're
course,
both at.
so
Both,
hot. Oh my god.
like, oh my god, Listen, don't let Braun Breaker hear you say that. That's her boyfriend, by the way.
I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Ron. We're gonna have some words.
All right. Well,
All
now
right.
we can kind of go into our Halloween Havoc pay-per-view preview. So I will go ahead and we'll talk about the match card. So far, we'll kind of break it down a little bit here, and we'll kind of talk about maybe what we see as might be happening, who might be dropping the belt. Let me pull this up here. So we already know that Braun Breaker's defending his title against JD and Dragunov, which I was so glad that they kept Dragunov and that he wasn't one that got released, because Dragunov is very skilled. The match
so
that
good.
the match that Dragunov put on when Gunther was Walter,
Yes, I remember
that
one.
was a freaking insane
Banger.
match.
Banger after banger after banger.
That was insane.
That
Like
was-
that was the match that Dragunov's chest was so chopped up.
Oh my
it
God,
was like
yes.
Hamburger.
Oh my
And-
god, I was like, he is gonna be.
And that was
Ooh.
the same match that when Gunther was Walter at the time, that
Mhm.
Walter had not lost a match in like 800 and some days.
Nope. He
So
hadn't.
everybody was like, "There's no way that Dragunov is gonna win," and Dragunov
they were-
won. And I was
God,
like,
they were wrong, and not only did
It's like
Dragunov win, and everyone's like, yeah.
yeah, that was
And I
crazy.
was one of those people going.
I was
Yes.
definitely. Oh, it was definitely a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you that.
It
So-
was.
The first one that we're going to talk about is the 5-way ladder match for the NXT North
Mhm.
American Championship. You have the 5 guys in the match. You have Von Wagner, which
Mhm.
I've never been a big fan. He's just kind of a bigger guy that's kind of stronger.
Right.
You have Wesley, very skilled. He's talented. He
Yep.
kind of reminds me of another version of Carmelo Hayes, except Wesley's not quite on Carmelo Hayes' level. And then, of course, you have probably the most talented guy in NXT. Yes, I just said it. The most talented guy in NXT in Carmelo Hayes. I will tell you, he's the most talented guy there right now.
Yep.
And then, of course, and I hate to always say this guy's name because I butcher it all the time. Oro Menza, and so it's
I wouldn't have pronounced it right either.
and then of course we have the last one in Nathan Frazier.
Yep.
I was originally gonna pick Carmelo Hayes, but the reason why I'm not gonna pick Carmelo Hayes this time is only because, from what I've heard, is that he could be potentially called up to the main roster too.
I believe it.
So that's why I was like, I don't think Carmelo Hayes is going to win this one.
No.
So if I had to pick anybody to win this, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with Wesley. That's going to be my pick. Is Wesley?
I'm with you there, Ace. I'm picking Wesley as well.
Are you taking Wesley also?
I am.
Mess around.
I gotta go with my guy Carmelo Hayes
But did you hear why I wasn't going to take him?
because he's supposed to be called up soon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, if that's the case, I'll go with what you got, West, the West guy.
It's unanimous.
It's unanimous with Wesley. Okay.
Unanimous.
And then you have Mandy Rose versus Alba Fire, which I'm telling you, I think if my prediction comes true, this is where you could potentially see Toxic Attraction turn.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. And then I think Alba Fire wins the title and Mandy goes to the main roster.
Yeah, and then Sonya might stick around for a little while.
Yeah.
In the next year. I don't know for sure. It's just
I mean, I've also been hearing that the other two members of Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, might join Mandy on the main roster. So if Sonya's going to stick around in NXT, she might as well create her own little faction, take two NXT stars that they don't know what to do with and kind of do what Mandy did and create a badass faction.
So here's an interesting stat.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Halloween Havoc arrives, Rose will be just a week away from having been champion for a whole entire year.
She's getting up there.
It's long overdue for. I mean, it's not long overdue, but it's about time the title comes off her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I mean, she's improved so much. She might as well apply those new and improved skills on the main roster and show how good she really is.
So I think with this one, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to go with Alba Fire. I'm going to take her. All right, Christy, how about you?
I'm going to go with Alba Fire, aka Kaylee Ray, because I think it's her time.
Mess around.
I gotta go with my girl. I don't think they think she's ready yet. I think they're gonna give her a little bit more time, and then she goes up.
Shocker!
Oh my God.
Mandy Rose.
He's picking Mandy for other reasons.
That's a shocker. All right,
Right.
now it's Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade. I still think that the match is going to happen, but I still think that this is going to be the final match between them.
Yep.
And this is in a Wild Weapons in a Weapons Wild match. So, I think because Cora Jade is the one who turned on Roxanne Perez, so I do believe that Roxanne Perez is going to finally just finish this up and say, boom, it's over, beat Cora Jade, end it, and then end up on SmackDown.
Yeah. I'm going same thing, same here, Ace. I'm going Roxanne Perez. She is just too good to stay in NXT for a long period of time. So beat Cora Jade, end the feud, and go to SmackDown.
And let me guess, mess around, Cora Jade.
Yeah.
Would that surprise you if I said anything else? Come on.
Nope, not at all.
Cora Jade's gonna win this match because winning the match for Perez doesn't do anything for her. She's already going up to the next ladder. So winning the match doesn't really do anything for her because she's going to the main roster.
All right, so you're going with your girl Cora Jade.
Yeah, because like I said, it doesn't do anything for Roxanne to win because she's already moving up.
And then we have Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match.
Oh, jeez.
So
those matches can get crazy.
Oh yeah, and I'm definitely going to go with Julius Creed. But to me, it's going to be it's interesting because I'm not used to seeing the Creed brothers wrestle solo. So it's going to kind of be cool to see that. I think it would be cool to have the first ever tag team ambulance match. That would have been really cool.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
now, did they kick Roderick Strong out of the group?
No.
I thought they were going to go that route a few weeks ago when they were like talking to him.
I thought so too, but it was Damon Kemp who ended up turning. So
yeah, it was him, and it just like sent shockwaves through the whole arena. Like what?
Yeah, because everybody expected it to be Strong, or expected the Creed brothers to turn on Strong, and instead it wasn't them. It was Damon Kemp that turned on the Diamond Mine. So
yep, he did.
That's what shocked everybody was that he's the one who did the turning. So I'm gonna go with Julius Creed.
Julius Creed.
You're going Julius Creed?
It's unanimous. I'm going Creed also.
All right, you're going with Julius Creed also. All right. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller
Oh,
in
God.
a forgot what was this match called? In a oh,
I was
in a
gonna say, what
spin
the
the
spin?
wheel, yeah, in a spin a wheel make a deal match.
Yes, I
So
remember. Yeah,
that's-
I remember this type of matches.
yeah. I was sitting there going, I knew it was something about a wheel, and I couldn't remember what it was. But
Spin
yeah,
the wheel,
it was
make
a
the
spin the
deal.
wheel, make a deal match.
That's the one.
I am gonna probably surprise people. I'm going with Grayson Waller.
I'm gonna go with Apollo Crews.
I'm right there with you. I'm going with Waller as well. I'm going with Cruz. Doesn't really do anything for him. He's already established and he's already done things in WWE's held titles. So I think they need to put Waller over.
Oh yeah. I think it'll definitely be Waller. And then of course we have the main event, the triple threat match: Braun, JD, and Dragunov. I am going to go a different route than a lot of people might think. And because Dragunov is one guy who comes out and gets a lot of big victories, I'm going with Dragunov.
I'm picking Ilya Dragunov. I mean, he is just really, really good. And, you know, I liked him when he was in NXT UK. When he was NXT UK champion, I thought he was awesome. So I'm going to go with Dragunov.
All right, mess around.
No, Braun Breaker. How can you go against the guy? The guy's strong. He's great.
And he does Snyder math.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't see how you take it off him already unless you're going to call him up after the match.
That's probably why. See, I think Braun Breaker's going to get called up.
That's
It's just me.
No, it could be a fair point. All right. So that's Halloween Havoc. It should be a week from Saturday, I do believe.
Yeah.
So
well, the only reason I'm saying Breaker is because he's the one that's carrying NXT right now. And if you take the title off him, you know, a lot of people aren't going to like that. And it's the only reason you take the title off is if you're going to pull him up.
Right.
all right, so now we move on. Now my apologies from before there, Christy, when I meant to do
Are you ready?
So now you can go ahead and take over and do your SmackDown review.
SmackDown. Okay, so it was a really interesting show. One part of the show got me interested was Rey Mysterio coming up to Triple H and explaining, you know, how painful it has been for him lately, especially with Dominic turning and then joining Judgment Day. So he told Triple H he was going to quit, and I think I don't know how many people were watching was just like, no, Ray, no. But Ray did change his mind. He struck a deal. He's going to be on SmackDown, and he got put in the number one contenders match for the Intercontinental title, which I'll mention later. The show started off with a bang with mess around, your boy Karrion Kross getting his vehicle rammed into by Drew McIntyre. Then Drew drags him out of the vehicle and starts beating him up with Scarlett screaming. And Kross was out of that match. So that's how Ray got in there. Bray Wyatt came in at the end of we'll get to Bray later, but Liv Morgan showed up and beat the holy living crap out of Sonya Deville, which sets up their match for next week on SmackDown.
That's
Liv
Liv
went wild there. Huh?
That swanton on top of the scaffolding was awesome.
God, that was insane. I was like, Liv, what is going on? Are you all right? But that was cool. But that set that up. More cracks are showing in the bloodline because Sami Zayn basically was complaining to Roman, and when Jay talked to Roman on the phone, he was getting bitched at. So a lot of stuff. And LA Knight had a match. He got to be on the mic and everything, and he got to show he's a badass heel, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nah. And then the Fatal 4-Way, Ricochet, Sheamus, Solo Sikoa, and of course Rey Mysterio in for Karrion Kross. It was a wild, crazy match, and your number one contender is Rey Mysterio. And it ended with Bray Wyatt coming out with the mess around does not approve.
I do not. They totally botched it. Rey Mysterio had no business winning that 4-way match. No business. Oh, he's already got titles. They screwed it up. You
But
give
your boy
anybody the
got
win.
taken out of the match by Drew McIntyre with getting into a wreck.
You give anybody the win, it's got to be Sheamus. You got to reward Sheamus for the
I
payoff
know.
with the Gunther thing. There's
I
no
don't-
way Ray should have won this match.
But
Yeah.
I think in the long run, the reason they did it is because, you don't want to drag out the story of Sheamus and Gunther. Like, you
Yeah.
want
Or
to.
you give us a Sokola. There's no way.
His
Ray
bloodline
should
is
have
too
won
much
that
gold as it is. I don't think
Yeah,
they need the
I don't think they
Intercontinental
wanna
title
do that
as part of the
because-
collection.
I really don't think they want to do that. And so we know, though, that Ray's not going to win the belt.
He's
And
not.
No,
but
he's
still,
not.
They
It's just-
they
he's
should have
not
gone
gonna
with Ray.
win.
No,
Nope.
And
Ray
so,
should have had no business winning that match.
Yeah, but he won, so
so OE Sheets is saying, I love Liv is getting more hardcore.
Yeah,
she is. I mean, this is
Mhm.
yeah. I wish she had gotten a little bit more hardcore against Ronda at Extreme Rules, but the plan was already to have Ronda have the title back. Which, by the way, that kind of made people a little angry. What made them angrier was Ronda never bothered showing up at SmackDown Friday night. She
Mhm.
was online streaming, playing video games.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
people were pissed about it, even me. I was like, you're the champion. You're supposed to be there.
I will mention
What
one
the
thing
hell
about
are you
that,
doing,
about
Lily?
that four-way match.
Yeah.
Dude, Ricochet sells everything to the extreme. That man sells
He's
moves
so good
better
at
than
that.
anybody.
I
He
mean, does this crazy
oversells,
high
but it's
flying
so
stuff. He can
awesome.
sell like nobody else.
He sells moves.
crazy.
He oversells. He oversells it,
Does
but it's
oversell.
awesome.
I do wish Ricochet had won that fatal 4-way match because he was my pick to win, but I guess it Ray being the sentimental favorite for some people.
Can you imagine Ricochet taking a stunner?
Right?
Like,
He would oversell the hell out of the stunner, by the way.
he would
I mean,
sell
The
it
Rock
for-
can oversell that thing better than anybody would.
He makes
Ricochet,
me look like I got hit with a stunner. Now I'm dead. That's what to do.
just
Ricochet is
watching-
the best at selling moves. Like,
It's so good.
It is great. Yeah. All right. Well, you can.
Last part is
continue.
Bray Wyatt came out. He bared his soul. And then it got a little weird at the end of the Bray segment with someone in a mask. Probably it was him in the mask. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what was said because I was just like,
Well,
I'm
so
like,
there,
what is this?
well, so there's actually a lot of speculations about this, and basically there's one speculation going on right now that that the
makes a
person
ton of sense.
Mhm.
that the person that appeared on the screen is actually himself,
Mhm.
and that the Wyatt Six is not actually six people; it's actually the six personalities of Bray
Mm.
Wyatt.
Yep.
And
And
so I
I
was
think we
like-
saw one of them Friday
Yeah,
night with him
which-
bearing his soul, just looking normal, no costume, nothing like that. It's just
Yeah,
with the
which,
exception of the lantern, obviously, that's just part of the whole thing with him.
which when you think about it, because you have to think Huskus the pig, right? So
Yep.
so one of his characters is Huskus the pig. Well,
Yep.
who does Huskus the pig remind you of? It
Husky
reminds-
Harris.
Yeah, it reminds
Husky
you.
Harris is
well,
his
Husky
original
Harris.
ring name.
Okay, so then you have the White Rabbit, and
Yep.
the White Rabbit was obviously Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
Yep.
Right?
And then you have Mercy the Buzzard,
Mhm.
which was a shirt that Bray Wyatt used to wear in NXT called Mercy. So basically, every single one of his characters that he has, every single one of his puppets portray something that he's done, either a character he was in the past or a shirt or something that he's wore.
I
Which
do
the
remember on the whole
personalities-
buzzard thing, one of the things Bray used to say was follow the buzzards.
Yes, he
That
did.
was one part of it.
He always said, "Follow the buzzards."
Follow the buzzards.
Which Oishita, I was going to get into that one too. I was going to say that was like the only one that people were wondering how he was going to pull it off was Abby the Witch.
Yep.
Because it's you're looking at that going, okay, so Sister Abigail, how
Yep.
would he be able to portray Sister Abigail?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where everyone's like, I
I
don't know how he would pull that off.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll figure something out.
So I'm not.
And I do think WWE did file a trademark for this particular,
Yeah,
particular name, Uncle Howdy, I think.
Yes, Uncle
Yeah.
Uncle Howdy.
Yep.
And then also I think it was Uncle Harper. Was it Uncle Harper?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They probably paid
Uncle
homage
Howdy.
to
Yeah, Uncle
Probably
Howdy
a-
and Uncle Harper.
Yeah.
I think.
I think the Uncle Harper thing might be an homage to Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee.
What's up, Facebook user? How's it going?
What's up?
Yeah. Don't know who that
Oh,
is.
Oe
Okay.
Sheets has a question. Will you think it's Will you think it's Alexa Bliss? Is Abby the Witch? I doubt it.
I personally think it's Liv Morgan.
I've heard it could be former NXT UK wrestler Isla Dawn, but I've just, like I said, you probably just take it with a grain of salt there.
Yeah, I personally think it is going to be Liv Morgan. I just think with the way that her character's changing and everything, I believe that they're changing her into that evil character to where she'll become Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
You don't think it could be Bliss though, because she hasn't been on TV in a week or so.
Mhm.
I don't
know.
think so, because she was with him once, and I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm not saying it's not possible. There were signs that could be pointing towards Bliss,
Like the two belts.
like the two belts.
Yep.
When they were at Extreme Rules, the two belts were next to Abigail. That's where it could be like, okay, maybe it was Bliss, because she was a SmackDown champ and a Raw champ at one point.
Yep.
So definitely could be there.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I was thinking Liv or Bliss, but I'm more leaning towards Liv.
I would love to see Liv Morgan too, but I think you got to go back with Bliss doing that,
Yeah.
being part of the
Well,
great thing.
I don't know if you guys saw this too, but somebody actually left a comment on Facebook, and if somebody saw this comment, they were talking about the Bray Wyatt promo on SmackDown. And the one person mentioned they're like my problem with it. They're like, the Undertaker never would have broke character like Bray Wyatt did. It was like, wait, what do you mean? What a broke character like Bray Wyatt did? He's like, Bray Wyatt broke character because he came out and said, this is me. This is just me. This is me being me. And like, bro, it's still a character.
It's not, character, but that's Bray being him. That's Bray being Wyndham Rotunda, who he really is.
Yeah, I was like, he's not breaking character.
No, he's just being who he is outside the ring. And he was pretty emotional talking to the crowd, thanking them for their love and support.
But I guess this person was very upset about it. And they're like, the Undertaker never would have done that. I'm like, what?
I think I saw that, guys. I can't believe Triple H greenlighted this to go on.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? Because he didn't break character.
No.
That could be one of the many characters that he's trying to portray.
Yeah, like he's portraying himself, Wyndham Rotunda, and then you have the Huskus the Pig, Mercy.
So if they go this route to have him do 6 personas, does it kind of remind you of Mick Foley and his many characters?
Well, you mean like Mankind and all that,
so,
Cactus Jack?
Sheets is saying, didn't Bliss show up one time and the black veil over her face? That's why she could be the witch. I think she did at one point.
Maybe. I don't remember if she did or not.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that either.
Here.
I don't recall that.
I don't either.
But
you could be right. I just don't remember it either.
Going back to that promo for a second, the wife and I were talking about this the other day. We were doing some research, and you know how in the promo Bray Wyatt said, you guys kept me who I was because I lost 2 of the closest people to me. Now we understood that one was Harper.
Yep.
And I thought maybe the other one was Rowan, but I didn't know who else he was talking about.
I was wondering, was there some sort of death in his family or something? I have no idea.
Because he said he lost 2 of the closest people to him, and one of them I know was Harper. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was talking about the other one was Rowan, because when he got released, Rowan was Braun?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I don't know
that's
either.
where we were confused, and we were talking about it. And we're like, okay, who's he talking about?
No clue. The only one I know right off the top of my head, like you, Ace, is Brody Lee, and they were. I mean, I still remember Bray's heartbreaking caption on an Instagram photo he posted after Brody Lee passed away was, "Wow."
Did you Google it and do some research? Did you find out?
No, I did a bunch of research,
Couldn't
and
find anything, huh?
I couldn't find anything on it. So I'm not exactly sure who that second person is.
Interesting. Maybe he'll bring it up later.
Maybe.
Maybe we're just really curious about it. So I'm like, I was trying to do whatever research I could to try and figure it out. But
Because you know it's not Vince McMahon.
Absolutely
did.
not.
Yeah, you definitely know Vince McMahon is the last person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to our next topic here, since we're getting low on time here. I know, Mess Around, you kind of called this a little bit when you said you're like, Ray's not going to wrestle his son. And so you kind of called this. So it looks like Rey Mysterio is now going to be moved to SmackDown. For how long, I don't know. Probably not a real long time. I do think that at some point the Rey and Dominic match is going to happen at some point. But maybe not till like Mania or something like that. But you see Rey, Omos, and MVP have moved to SmackDown. That's what it looks like. So it looks like you're going to end up seeing a Braun Strowman versus Omos match.
Two giant dudes going at it.
Right?
I love it. I've been wanting to see this since Braun came back. I've talked about it briefly, I think, last week. You got the two giant, the colossal, Omos, and you got the Muncher Among Men. And MVP said the thing about Munchers is they always hide in the dark or something like that.
Yeah, I just think it was funny though, because as Strowman's standing there, he's like, "You might be big, but you've never met a strong guy like me before."
Right?
I'm like, yeah. So get in here. He's like, "Yeah,
I'm right here.
Come on, Omos, get in here.
I want to see that match. I want to see, like, it's kind of like everybody wanted to see Commander Azizel or whatever the frick his name was against Omos, and Omos squashed him really quick.
He did.
Right? Yeah,
Oh
there's no way this dude is squashing Braun."
no, Braun is just so
kinda
big and
wonder
so
if
strong,
WWE's
so
gonna make it the
powerful.
same way where Braun squashes Omos, and Omos is afraid of Braun afterwards.
Yeah,
It would be kind of
Braun
funny.
chases him around saying, "You're gonna get these hands."
It would be kind of funny.
It would. I just kind of wonder because they didn't bring Braun back to have him lose a bunch of matches and stuff.
Yeah.
No.
So I just think it'd be great if he squashed Omos real quick and kind of gave him his own taste of his medicine the way he squashed Azizel.
Yep.
Or however you say his name.
Nice.
Aziz,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Aziz was afraid of him afterwards. Didn't want nothing to do with him.
Yeah, which I was actually kind of excited about this match too. Mess Around. I was there with you. I was like, sweet, we're gonna see Strowman versus Omos, and you'll actually get to see how strong Strowman actually is.
Yep.
So
Right.
I think that the other match, there's two other matches that I would love to see also. I would love to see Brock versus Omos also.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
But I seriously think that Brock would tear shit up.
Oh, he would. I
Yeah.
would not be surprised. He would probably be sending Omos to Suplex City over and over and over and
I did
over
love how
again.
MVP was like, you might be big, but you look normal next to
To the
Omos.
Nigerian giant, yeah. The Nigerian giant. Well, Omos is a
Yeah.
big dude.
He is.
7'3", I think.
He's a big dude, but
It's huge.
Braun is just stronger.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
that guy ain't got the ounce of fat on him now. Before he had that protruding gut.
Yeah,
Now it's just all muscle.
that dude, he's lost so much weight and got so freaking strong.
Oh yeah.
It's It's crazy.
It is.
Big
Yeah.
boy.
you're telling me. I think that if anything, this match will potentially take place at Crown Jewel.
Yes.
I'm
That's
telling you, I see Braun squashing him. I think it's gonna be a squash match. I
Could
do.
be.
well, Mess Around's calling it. He's calling it a squash match. So
Squash.
the final rumor that I wanted to hit on before we call it, and we'll talk about Crown Jewel like next week or something. But the final rumor that I wanted to mention really quick was that I don't know if you guys saw it when I shared it in the chat, but it was announced that Day One this year was actually canceled.
Yeah.
I heard.
And so there's not going to be any pay-per-views between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, and it got
Wow.
canceled because there was conflicting games going on in Atlanta. So it kind of they were either saying let's either change the venues and like move it to a different place or just cancel it, but it sounds like they're just going to actually cancel Day One altogether, which I think it'll be fine because you'll make it a build up better between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. It'll make it like a better speculation of who's going to return at the Royal Rumble, because I think this year at the Royal Rumble, I think you could see
Cody.
I think you'll see three big returns at the Rumble. If Randy Orton's healthy enough, I think
Randy, yep.
that you'll see him. I think you'll see Cody Rhodes.
Most definitely.
And then I think you might see, if cleared, you might see Big E also at the Rumble.
I can see that.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
So I
It's a
think
new day. Yes, it is.
I think those are three big returns that you
Yeah.
could potentially see at the
And
Royal
you got
Rumble.
about and it gives you about 2 months to really build up the excitement for the Royal Rumble.
Well, one of them was taking place in, I think it was Survivor Series. I think it's November, if I do remember. Yeah. So, yeah, it's November, and then the Royal Rumble is like January 28th or something like that.
In San Antonio, yeah.
Yeah, so it gives you that whole time between to make great storylines and really build up to it.
And you're going to have certain individuals going to be announced. I'm going to be announcing my participation in the Royal Rumble or something like that.
And then Hornswoggle is going to make his debut.
I think if Braun Breaker doesn't get called up soon, I think you can see him be a surprise entrant in the Rumble.
Right? It could be possible. They've started to let NXT stars be a part of the Rumble and both the men's and women's matches. So.
Well, at least the good thing this year is with how many women Triple H is bringing back.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have to go out and try and find women just to debut.
Triple H bringing people back. It was rumored that Sasha and Naomi signed a long time ago. How come they haven't been on yet?
I don't know. One of the last things I saw was Sasha Banks killing it during New York Fashion Week and doing some other appearances, like at the Halloween. I think it was the Halloween Ends premiere or something like that.
Yeah, I think,
or it was some sort of premiere event or something like that because Brandy Rhodes was at the same event.
I think they're just trying to find the right time.
Yeah,
and so I think that's all they're doing right now is just buying time.
But they are signed, right? They did re-sign. Okay.
Yeah.
From what I understood, yes.
Okay.
All right. So with that, we're actually at the time now to where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So Mess Around Dave, any final thoughts for us?
I was going to say something else but about the Braun Omos potential match, but I lost my train of thought. So.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right. And then Christy Wilson, any final thoughts?
Well, it's just a good show tonight. And, looking forward to doing this again next week because doing the format the way we have it all set up and everything now was cool.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I definitely like it. All right, so we definitely want to thank everybody for watching, all of our viewers and whoever Facebook user is that says, "What's up, fellas? What's up?" We hope you had a good night, and OE Sheets, thank you. So with that, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week for another episode of Between the Ropes. Have a good night.
Good night.